Welcome to the event. We're really happy that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments. But before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers or headphones to experience the class with. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself, modify as you need to. Don't risk exacerbating an injury because of a yoga exercise. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact, we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises, that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video streaming, try refreshing the page, or if you see a gear icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment. Welcome to the event. We're really happy that you're here. We're about to go live in just a few moments. But before we lift off, there's a few important things we want to make sure that you're aware of so you get the best possible experience out of this. First of all, the sound current is supremely important to us, the musical experience. So if possible, we really encourage you to use good speakers or headphones to experience the class with. Second, if you have any pre-existing injuries, please take care of yourself, modify as you need to. Don't risk exacerbating an injury because of a yoga exercise. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions and you're not quite sure if this would be good for you, please consult with your primary healthcare practitioner and make sure it's the right thing for you. Also, make yourself relatively comfortable. You can use a cushion, and in fact, we encourage you in our seated positions, meditation practices, to use a cushion. It helps lift the heart up, keep the spine straight, and it's more ideal for the flow of energy in the body and for the meditation experience. You can even be sitting in a chair with feet flat on the floor for those of you that are unable to sit in a meditative sitting posture on the floor. Just use a chair, and for many of the exercises, that will work perfectly fine. And then lastly, if you're having any problems with the video streaming, try refreshing the page, or if you see a gear icon on the video, adjust your resolution. If you're new to this type of thing, just take care of yourself. If there's something that you don't quite understand, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Everything that needs to click will click after a few times of trying it out. Enjoy the experience. We're about to get started in just a moment. Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. It's great. It's great to be with you. Happy full moon. And this is really a perfect day, a perfect time. Not just today. Today is fantastic. But this time in general that we're living through right now is really mysterious and certainly filled with energy and filled with transformation and the things that get our attention cause us to kind of snaps us out of business as usual, which on that level is a positive thing. Of course, there's other sides to it that are very difficult and very painful and also very restricting and constricting in this type of thing. That's definitely the astrology of the time as well, is that it remains to be the case, even though today we have a full moon with Jupiter conjunct the moon, which is wonderful, and the moon in the lunar mansion of Dhanistha, which has what they say the Shakti, or the power of to give prosperity, to bring wealth. It's represented by the symbol of the drum, of Lord Shiva's drum, like a cosmic drum. So we'll be working with rhythm, but we always work with rhythm no matter what the nakshatra is, the lunar mansion is of the day. But this puts extra emphasis on it and kind of insinuates, well, we could really use it well today. Because when we put ourselves in rhythm, we'll feel our juice for life. When things are out of rhythm, it's like nothing works. Even though that, I've in my life played a lot of basketball and still enjoy very much watching basketball. And with all things in life, but this being one example athletically, is rhythm is everything. And it can be the greatest team there is, but if they're off rhythm that one night, some much less talented team can come in and beat them if they're on rhythm. So how do we apply this to our life? Some days we're going to have A+ rhythm. Some days we're going to have like D- rhythm. And that's always going to be the case, but it'll always be relative to where are we at that time in our life, in our evolution. So, probably your D- rhythm right now is maybe an A+ rhythm that you had, 15 years ago. Does that make sense? Because as we continue to become more emotionally mature, as we continue to become more self-aware, and we continue to more deeply arouse the heart of compassion in our mind and body. And the yogis, when they say mind, they don't mean up here. Mind also means the heart. Heart is included in the mind because heart is part of the mind. In fact, your entire body is also part of the mind. And that's the great wisdom of Ayurveda and yoga. That's what the 8 human vitalities are all about. The first vitality is rasa, juice. And so if we can get ourselves in rhythm, if we can put our biorhythm in a sort of synchrony with the bigger biorhythm of life, well, that's what they call dharma. That's being in the field of dharma. You'll naturally feel a good sense of creativity, a good sense of purpose. Dharma is not something we go outside of ourselves to find. It's about really getting our energy condition optimized in such a way to where the sense of purpose is totally natural. It's not something that we have to go chase or discover in some intellectual way. Of course, there will be some of that too, because that's what we do with our intellect. We think, we figure out, we discern, we discover. These are all important things, important functions of the psyche. But that's not the only part of the mind. Also part of the mind is the ability to love and the ability to feel more deeply. And And when it's coming to purpose, has to do with feeling. Not just emotional feeling, but also intuitive feeling. And this is part of the greatness of these types of yogic practices, it starts to help to purify the density of the psyche, which is also purifying the density of the body. But we're talking about layers and layers of subtlety. With each vitality, it becomes slightly more refined. And so when you start to work with the body and the breath, and then the psyche as well, in terms of the thinking mind, and you give the thinking mind something to focus on. And when you give the thinking mind something to focus on, that's what in yoga is called dharana, which means you're putting your attention, your thinking mind, on a single point of focus. But dharana means it's a continuous stream of energy. And that's what we're endeavoring to do. So even when we close the eyes and we gently relax the gaze into the third eye space, we can feel the softness and tenderness as well as the expansion of our heart. We can just gently put the gaze there in that space and endeavor to just hold a single space of attention there. It takes practice. At first you won't be able to do it very well. But that's okay, because even just trying it out a little bit, and it's not like this thing that we try to go like, okay, let me do it. Like we would try to accomplish something like that with a more of a kind of a Western mentality. Let me accomplish it. Let me achieve this. This is not achievement-based, really. This is about enjoyment-based. So enjoy the experience of closing your eyes and gently relaxing the optic gaze where the root of the nose meets the skull bone between the two eyebrows. And the reason we can enjoy that is because it helps to neutralize our life force, our life force, our psyche, our mind, our positive, negative, our good and bad, our ups and downs, our feminine, masculine, all of those things. All of those things are the things that are being constantly provoked, triggered, given friction as we scrolling social media feeds, as the news of the day is coming in, and so forth and so on. So if we don't have good neutralization of the psyche, we won't be able to make sense of any of it, because there's too much conflicting information. Too much conflicting, and this seems like that really makes sense, but that also seems like it really makes sense, and they're in total opposition to each other. I'm not talking about one thing in particular. This is the energy of the age, where there's so much information that nothing works. And these mythologies are predictable in a certain way. But we are living out that mythology. But to become self-aware that we're living out the mythology of lots of information, lots of energy coming our way. In astrology, in the Indian astrology, it's the mythology of what they call Rahu, which is the north node of the moon. And Rahu is a head that without a body. So when Rahu is in balance, what you get is innovation and creativity. But when Rahu is out of balance, what you get is high anxiety. You get mass confusion and lots of fear. And you also get a more kind of superficial desire to grasp onto pleasures and to push away pains. And unfortunately, that's the root cause of our disease in life, is to habitually, through our subconscious, grasping onto the things that give us pleasure in our lives, and subconsciously and habitually pushing away that which gives us discomfort and pain or triggers us. So that's why emotional maturation is the key in the whole thing. Because how can you start to modify that habitual tendency of grasping onto pleasures and pushing away discomfort, how can you even begin to modify that if I don't have the capacity to feel uncomfortable without losing my center and without losing my intuitive sense? So when you relax the gaze there, especially once we've done some work and done some exercises, but then if you're doing this type of work, which we're always doing in the Life Force Academy regularly, then you're able to kind of access that intuitive space all the time for the most part, but still we're able to do that because we have a consistent type of workout system that keeps our life force well circulated, that keeps the density from accumulating too much. It's natural. You're just living in a human life. We're not trying to be over purified in this type of thing. That's easy to get ourselves hooked into, is this kind of almost extremism around purification and being totally pure. No, it's just we're loving ourselves, we're enjoying ourselves, and we want to continue to cultivate the conditions that allow us to enjoy ourselves, to allow us to enjoy our intuitive wisdom and creativity, which we all have, on a regular basis, regardless of how difficult life has become. So that is totally realistic, and it's totally possible, and it's exactly what all the great yogis around the world have been basically reporting from the get-go, is you can be happy and genuinely happy. And so rasa, that first human vitality of juice, its gift to the mind and the psyche is satisfaction. It hydrates you. So when you're feeling dehydrated in your body, there's a certain lack that is there. It's very hard to feel satisfied. But if then you took some amazing fresh coconut water right out of the coconut, and you were dehydrated, and you feel the satisfaction that comes from that, that's the same thing that we call as rasa. But the more subtle vitality, which is the more long-lasting vitality, because that coconut's not going to help you 6 weeks down the road, not even the next day barely. So therefore, we need to create a rasa, a deeper satisfaction of body and mind that is more long-lasting. Therefore, it needs to be more subtle. The more subtle something is, the more long-lasting it is. That means subtlety is power. Subtlety is not weak. So that's what happens when there's too much masculinity that has dominated the collective psyche, is you don't realize that things like subtlety is where great power is. It's more feminine power, but it's power. And then you can get tricked into believing that not showing emotion is more powerful, or let me show you what I can accomplish, and these types of things, in order to kind of build up our sense of self. But if my sense of self is built up on my accomplishments, wow, that's a weak foundation, because it's going to crack one day. If nothing else, it'll crack at the time of death. And so the one reason I love coming together and doing this with all of you is because it really brings me into the present moment. Right here we are, all together. I would invite you to turn off your phones, if you, or whatever, just take the next hour and allow this to be something that helps to recalibrate our bodies and minds, to feel good, so we can remember how to enjoy our own existence, our own reality, our own sense of what we are and who we are, and our own creativity, our own sense of ourselves, our own sense of others. Allow us to feel our connection to life itself. And this is a great thing to do, and when the moon is full, is very much supported. All of that is very much supported. It's a moment of celebration, of enjoyment. And then the moon will start to wane, the energy will get low and low and low, and then it'll start to grow again. And so with each of these cycles, of course, the female organism is very much physiologically attuned to that, but also the male organism too, just in a different way, in a way that's not quite as obvious. But all of us are mostly water, and we're all influenced by the cycles of the moon all the time. The moon is changing nakshatras, those 27 lunar mansions, every day, one a day. So the mythology of that is that Chandra, the moon, had 27 wives. Actually, Chandra is a masculine deity, but very effeminate. So an effeminate male. And so the moon had 27 wives, but he liked one the most. And her name was Rohini, or is Rohini, we really should say, because these are tales that give us insight into life. But the father of the 27 wives was very angry because the moon only wanted to spend time with Rohini and didn't want to visit all of the other wives. So the father cursed him and caused him to wax and wane instead of being always full. And so then each day of the lunar month, the moon is visiting one of those 27 wives. Is how the mythology goes. And so then what if those who really pay attention to it, you learn the qualities of all the 27 nakshatras and what they symbolize. Just like you would in astrology, you learn what's the energy of the sun when it's in Leo, what's the energy of the sun when it's in Virgo, and so forth and so on. And for those of us who really get into it, we like, what's the energy of Venus when it's in Virgo? Which it is gone in Vedic astrology. And so Venus is debilitated in Virgo. Why? It's what we're talking about. Venus is all heart and feel. Virgo is intellect. And so then that can be a little bit difficult if we're used to our Venus, our sense of feeling being one way. But if we just tune into the energy of it, you tune into the archetype of how things are, then you can actually get into the higher octave of all of these things. And that becomes the key. When the life force is well concentrated in my body, the intuitive mind is well connected, the heart is soft and open, yet protected. Not protected in this way, but protected with your magnetism, protected with your sense of your wisdom of boundary. But in terms of our internal disposition and how we relate to others, the heart becomes very expansive and very generous. And it's generous through its loving kindness. So then, when that becomes the guide, and that becomes, I want to get deeper into loving kindness, that's when all of these other details and learning about the 8 human vitalities, that's how all of that starts to become really, really important to us. Because I'm already tasting a bit of how good it feels to have that genuine love. The feeling of self-love, my appreciation of me, my appreciation of my own body, my appreciation of my own mind, my own quirks, my own talents, my own neuroses, all of it. But also my appreciation of others with less and less boundary. And therefore, now I'm starting to become really happy. And because I'm starting to get much more happier, I would like to have more of that. So then let me figure out what is the architecture of this human mind and body. And the yogis have described it beautifully. And it's very simple. It doesn't require biochemistry. It's more poetic. It's more about learning through stories. Learning of how do you courtship the mind into greater love and happiness? How do you cause the heart to just open and blossom naturally? How do we start to really appreciate life as it is? And that's what we're working to do this today, is to move our bodies in service of that, is to bring our energy centered in service of that, but to use the rhythm of the breath, of the body, of the mind all together, so that on this day, on this time, we can give ourselves a space to operate from that allows us to interact with all the situations of our life with creativity, with greater love, with greater compassion, with greater joy, with greater happiness, with greater kindness. And that's not telling you what to believe. It's saying you should be capable fully of understanding what you believe. Is that you have tremendous intelligence. I have tremendous intelligence, but let us give ourselves the condition to experience that intelligence. And that means we have to be a little less polarized. And we have to get more into the intuitive psyche, the creative sense. Then you don't have to worry about all your friends are fighting about this and all your other friends are fighting about the other side, because you'll be able to know what you know and to trust it, and also be able to talk to people without freaking out and without being so emotionally triggered. It's not easy. I'm not trying to make it sound easy, but it's totally possible. We just have to commit to it. I'm going to commit to being happy. And that will cause you to make healthy boundaries, but not boundaries where the heart is rigid. Boundaries so that the heart can open. It's a big difference. Okay, let's begin. So bring your hands to prayer pose. And we're going to tune in. Hands are into prayer pose, and through the nose, take a deep inhale. And exhale. Those of you new to this Kundalini yoga practices, just do your best. Modify anything you need to modify. Something not making complete sense, don't worry, it won't be that important. Just do your best. Inhale through the nose, please. Suspend the breath for a moment and exhale. Inhale deeply. Exhale. And keep doing that, inhaling and suspending, exhaling. A few more times.
Om
Beautiful. Make your way onto the hands and knees. We'll start moving the body. And all of that is simply, let me take a moment to really tune into my higher octave. Tune into my energy without the outer distractions. And let me make my sense of centeredness, sense of clarity, priority. You begin cat-cow, inhaling, the head is coming up, and exhaling, head is coming down. As you exhale and the head comes down, the spine arches up, the pelvis tucks under. It's also massaging lower digestive system as you're making the spine and the cerebrospinal fluid nice and supple. Cerebrospinal fluid, it also is part of your rasa, your sense of juice, your sense of hydration. Rasa means taste, rasa means melody, rasa means interest. Rasa is when you have good rasa. You feel a certain satisfaction for life. But when we lose that sense of rasa, which it's easy to do sometimes, especially when times are tough, it's hard to make anything else work because it's the first tissue, it's the first vitality. So breathe deeply. Not just to make a flexibility, but also to circulate and to keep your spinal fluids healthy. Deep breathing, nice rhythm, and listen to the sound of your breath. And inhale, head is up. And exhale, the head is down. Good, come sitting up on the heels. You can use a cushion like Leah, or just sitting on the heels. Make sure you're right on your sit bones. Hands on the lap, chest is out, chin is slightly in. You're going to inhale, lift, lifting through the sternum. Keep the shoulders back. As you inhale and you lift through the chest, the sit bones kind of pressing down towards the earth. Nam and sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit, nam, sit. Through the nose, and breathe with a substantive rhythm. Sit, 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 sit. If it's fast for you, you can go slower, don't worry about it. But if you can hit the rhythm, hit the rhythm. Good, 20 seconds, see if you can keep going with the breath. Inhale. And then lift through the pelvic floor, your core. Draw your navel in and relax the gaze between the two eyebrows. Exhale. Beautiful. Come back sitting cross-legged, Sukhasana, easy pose. If you have good rasa, then naturally you'll get good rakta. This means good blood. Your blood chemistry will improve. So it's not so agitated all the time or so feeling kind of anemic towards our life all the time. You feel good sense of zest, some good sense of passion to go with the purpose that you feel by having good rasa. So not only I feel this, now I'm starting to really feel, sense of creativity, sense of purpose, sense of creativity. Those two things are the same. So then, now I feel that, I want to move it. I want to do something with it. That's the second vitality. Hands like here. Fingers in front, thumbs in the back. Now pelvic floor lifted, heart wide open, and then inhale left, exhale right. Beautiful. And just deep with the breathing. Go at your own pace. To the center, inhale. Suspend the breath, heart out, shoulder blades release. Now lift through the pelvic floor, mulban, rectum, sex organ area, perineum. Up and in, the navel up and in. Third eye goes the gaze. And relax. It's just encouraging the prana, encouraging the chi, your life force, to circulate, to touch the more enjoyable centers of our life cycle. Pituitary, pineal, heart center, not to just get stuck in the realm of feeling, stuck in the realm of emotion, stuck in the realm of our habitual subconscious tendencies. It helps us be happy. Hands on your knees. When you get good blood chemistry starts to feed the muscle and the skin tissue, revitalizing. Remember though, the body tissues are the terrain of the psyche. So that means it'll give you a sense of self-confidence. The muscle, the skin, you sense of you're well protected. And when you feel well protected, with the rhythm, the breath, every exhale, just let the shoulder blades release. Tension, stress, upper back, neck, shoulders. When you feel well protected, you'll very naturally feel confident. It's the foundation for inner confidence. I don't have to subconsciously put a protection on me. I'm protected enough to feel. I'm safe enough to feel deeply. Inhale, squeeze up and squeeze out the tension. And release. Fantastic. Stretch your legs out wide like a V shape, because that's the third human vitality. the vitality of confidence. Inhale, center. Turn left, exhale, down. Inhale up, turn other side, exhale, down. Every inhale, fill the lungs, deep breath. Beautiful, keep going. But inhale, center. Open the legs a little bit further if you can, and then continue. Flex the feet, energy into your toes. And every inhale, very deep. Keep going. And inhale, center. And exhale, fold down forward. Keep the feet flexed. Energize the toes. Relax the groin. Extend out through the heart center, your center of your chest. Chin is in, shoulder blades released. And breathe long and deep, relaxing the groin area. And see if you can please relax the gaze into the third eye space. Inhaling and fully exhaling. As you inhale, you can perhaps feel your chi, feel the prana move from the head, the space of overthinking, and down into the core, into the pelvic bowl, and then connecting and grounding into the earth. Your chi, the prana, from the core, from the root chakra, connecting down into the earth. And as you exhale, you might feel that prana coming up from the base of your core, through the root of the spine, and passing through your heart, and then again filling the skull and nurturing the crown and the pineal and the pituitary. And then continuing with that feeling of visualization for the next few moments.
बिछड़े थे माधो एहो जन्म तुम्हारे देखे एहो जन्म तुम्हारे
and inhale and relax. Shake your legs out a little bit and come easy pose. It's cross-legged. Have a sip of water. This is the Great Ragi from North India by Nirmal Singh. You can get out your Shazams, it'll come up. Okay, arms are gonna well first actually let's do this. You're gonna be doing this rhythm breath of fire with the rhythm, so it'll look like this. Now it might come as a challenge at first, but don't worry. Just try it like this. You're going to make your inhale and your exhale of equal strength, and it's through the nose. So listen to it for a moment. It doesn't have to be powerful, and it doesn't need to be a very deep breath because we're going with a rhythm breath. And if your rhythm is, in this case, is more quick tempo, it can't go that deep because you won't be able to do both. But it's going to have a depth, but the depth comes from the rhythm, not from how deep the breath is going. Because when you're doing this type of breath of fire, it's not like you're taking 100 breaths because it's going. It's considered one breath. And the yogis always say, well, you have an exact amount of breath that you're so many breaths in each of our destinies that we have here. So prolong it a little bit. We slow down our breath. We very, very literally slow down our aging process. Okay, so first try it. Take your index finger to thumb Jnana Mudra and heart lifted up so the spine is elongated. Shoulders back, chin is slightly in, and inhale deep and go. Neutralizing the exhale and the inhale, equalizing. Now listen to the sound of the breath as you continue. And listen to the sound of the breath as a mantra. Like it's the very body and life chanting. Not any particular mantra, the sound of the breath. Now inhale. Exhale. So you're going to take your thumbs out and your fingers tucked in like so. And then you're going to bring the arms to 60 degrees. Shoulders released, extend out through your knuckles. Thumbs stretched away. Heart wide open. Eyes go to the third eye. Inhale. And
बहुत जन्म कह रवदास आस लग जीवा कह रवदास आस लग जीवा चिर पयो दर्शन देखे चिर पयो दर्शन देखे चिर पयो दर्शन देखे बहुत जन्म बहुत
see if you can keep going. Substantive rhythm. But make the mind relax. Make the face relax. 60 seconds. Give it a try. You'll feel like you won't want to keep going. It feels like a lot of pressure, but if you can release the shoulder blades, extend through the arms, draw the gaze of the third eye, substantively breathe. It'll help your life force to lift into your heart, pituitary, pineal.
हम सर दीन दयाल न तुम सर अब पतियार क्या कीजे
20 seconds.
अब पतियार क्या कीजे
Inhale.
बचनी तोर
Thumb tips touching, fingers spread wide, fingers firm. Lift through the perineum, lift through your pelvic floor, release the shoulder blades, touch the ceiling with your fingertips, inhale some more. Stretch, create space in the spine, stretch. Hold the position while you exhale through your nose. Now please deeply inhale. Reach to the ceiling, release the shoulder blades, lift through your pelvic floor. Third eye goes the gaze. Hold the position, exhale. Now last time, inhale very deep. And again extend. Meditate. Exhale. And slowly relax. When you have a stronger magnetism, which is what the exercise helps, it's a nice daily activity. You feel even now, even more subtle and thus more sustained feeling of protection, of being protected and confident and secure. It's not a rational thing. It's a deeper feeling that doesn't depend on our rationale. And that's where the joy is. Okay, and then that protection gives you then the ability to feel safe to love. And we feel safe to extend the kindness of our heart beyond our normal limited boundaries that we have been habituated into creating with our heart's energy. And thus life becomes very difficult that way. And so then we've kind of moved into the fourth human vitality of love, the vitality of love. It's your fat tissue that snuggles the body. In that insulation that helps your sensitive inner sense of self, the inner ego, ahankara, to feel safe enough to love and to not always having to create subconscious protection because there's insufficient genuine protection. Making sense? So this is the architecture of how we get inside of the human organism, the human psyche, and help our happiness. So did everyone have a little drink of water? Because here we go. We have two kriyas, one very wonderful, but it's going to work us, exercise set, and then one beautiful, blissful meditation. And that will, I think, very much do the trick. And so, and also, everyone is invited to the September 1 through 5, a global immersion that will be broadcasting from Menla Mountain Retreat in the Catskills of New York. And I'll tell you more about that later. But this is, to do this today is wonderful, totally does the trick. But if you have the opportunity to do this type of work for several days in a row, it's a whole nother thing. It really puts some wind behind our sails. It really is like, yes. And that's what we're going to need very much in these coming months, is real connection to what we are all about and where we stand and who we are and what's important to us. And most of all, we all need to maintain connectivity, I believe, to our creativity. It is our creativity that carries us. And our creativity, particularly when that creativity is, when we have the type of magnetism or the type of energetic condition that causes that creativity to be in service to what our life is all about. Because we're being creative no matter what. It takes creativity to maintain anxiety. It takes creativity to maintain depression. It takes creativity to maintain passive-aggressive attitudes or superiority complexes or inferiority complexes. But that is when creativity is being hijacked by our subconscious tendencies. So the beauty of these kriyas is they help to kind of make it kind of a powerful shift, so that for we get access to our creativity, and then we can work to shift the patterns. But that's why we need more. Now we have access to it, but then to continue to have access to it so we can create new supportive habits, that takes more consistency. So anyhow, so here we go with this first exercise of this set, and I think you'll love it. But what you're going to be doing is, the breath is through the nose. And what you're going to be doing is with the, I'll show you. So it looks like this. Arms start out like here. So the fingers are firm, okay? Fingers, thumbs firm. Arms out. And then you go. So each time a hand, it's like you're pulling the prana into the, you don't hit the chest, but like you're gonna, kind of like you're gonna beat the chest, but more like you're pulling life force into the heart center. You're taking the life energy and you're centering it and gathering it in your heart center, heart chakra. But every time that either hand comes to the heart, you exhale. So it goes like this. It's a rhythm breath. That same equal strength of inhale, exhale, and you can get into it. Really use the breath, really get into a groove, really get into the rhythm, and really use it to uplift your energy, uplift your life. Rise above the heavy. Rise above the dramatic. And go into your creative, meditative, intuitive energy. Initial fun of it might have worn off, but now breathe deeper. Come on, it's not gonna last that long. So see if you can pay attention. Use your breath. Do it less like a accomplishment, like you're having to improve yourself, and more like a courtship, like you're loving yourself, you're uplifting yourself. You're getting beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones and connecting into a new layer of the heart, a new layer of our vitality, the vitality of love. The vitality of love is vibrating our cells, our tissues. We'll naturally hold our hearts up high. Our skeleton will become tall. Our fears lose their strength and start dissipating. Our anxiety loses its charge. And we can finally move with a sense of conviction. Our body no longer feels like a heavy weight. But rather a marvelous instrument. Perfectly designed for our life's purpose. This is the vitality of elevation. Breathe. Seconds. Keep going, if possible. Build the heart life force, the heart prana. Arms out, fingers firm, lift the root lock, make the fingers tight, look into the third eye space, exhale, beautiful, have some water. When we do these types of tightening techniques, tightening of the fingers, lifting of the muscle locks, it's not a tightening of your head, and it's certainly not a tightening of your mind. It's a relaxing of the face, it's a relaxing of the mind. So it's tighten the fingers, bring all the tension that is in the mind, actually. All that electricity. You know, when you tighten the other parts of the body, specifically within the technique of the Kriya, then you can start to kind of move and work with your energy so it's not too Rahuvian or too heady, too much chasing after things subconsciously, and more of just allowing ourselves to be cool with how things are, and knowing that that coolness with how things are is the very force of attraction that brings us what we truly want and what we truly desire. That takes time to cultivate, but it's totally real and totally natural, and it continues to open. And it's not like, oh yeah, I got that. No, I've got it to some level. I experience it to some level, but that experience continues to grow and continues to deepen, and without any ending. Okay, next exercise, very challenging. Hands are firm, fingers are firm. You're gonna. This is a very powerful warrior exercise. So you exhale as the hands come towards each other. They're like you're coming with full force, but then they stop. It works with building your magnetic strength, okay? So it goes like this. It has to have that breath, that very powerful breath. But see if you can keep the mind relatively relaxed. But you have to bring up your energy enough to do the exercise with good power. So you bring in the warrior energy. You bring in the inner confidence, the force of your passion. And you concentrate the prana. 2 minutes. Seconds. This exercise is combining force and control. Force without control, destructive. Force with control, your ally. Get in the rhythm. 'Inhale and relax. Wow. Good job, everybody. Relax your shoulders out, shake your shoulders, have a little water if you wish. No big deal. If this is really difficult for you, that's totally reasonable. This is pretty difficult for everybody. But it's also the type of thing, it's not a beginner's, it's not an advanced, it's just we all do it and we learn by doing it. And the more we do it, the easier it gets. But it's all good. You just do it as you can do it today. Take care of yourself however you feel appropriate. But then, enjoy and work with it. Let it help us. Okay, ready? Next one. 2 hands firm like this. And this is it. So what you're going to do, hands are firm like you're kind of connecting your energy and you're almost like bouncing it off the earth, like the magnetic field of the earth, like but very fast because it's 30-second exercise. Okay, so 30 seconds only, and it's as fast as you can with control. Okay, go. Lift your core, your pelvic floor. Keep your heart lifted, and then go. Fingers firm. Seconds, go. Quick and deep. Inhale. Relax. Oh my goodness. Good job, everybody. Come onto your backs. One more exercise. And like we said in the beginning of before the class, ladies, if you're on your moon cycle or pregnant, just relax during this next exercise. This is the final exercise before the relaxation and then the meditation. It's a big one. What you're gonna do is For most of us, what's going to happen is your hands are going to be underneath the butt, palms facing down. Now, if you're more advanced with your abdomen work and navel work, then in this exercise, what you can do is take all your fingers of each hand and bring them to a single point and press below your belly button into the abdomen. Yeah. And then you would do the exercise pressing into the abdomen. But for most of us, hands under the butt or by the side, but protect your lower back if it feels like it's straining. Your legs are going to be engaged, your feet flexed, and you're going to inhale and bring the legs up to about 12 inches off the ground. Keep the head on the ground, make the legs engage and the feet flexed, and begin to breathe long and deep in this position. It needs a very deep breath. It's very difficult, because you'll be here a little bit. Almost very few, if any, people will be able to hold the position the entire time. So when you need to relax out of the position, you can no longer hold it. Just relax out, and when you can, come back into it until the bell. So key thing here, breathe through the nose with great depth and great rhythm. The more difficult, that deeper the breath. Much longer is the vitality of your navel. All your life force power comes from the navel. It's your vitality center of the body. Just below the belly button, lift up through the pelvic floor. Support your lower back by putting the hands underneath you if need be. Or if it just feels good. Now please, my friends, breathe. Fill the body with life force from your breath. Engaged. 20 seconds. And inhale. And relax, friends. Beautiful. Relax, relax, relax. That's very challenging. Everybody did a great job. Great job, Leah. Relax, let the arms out some, let the legs out some, let the jaw relax, let the tongue relax. And as you begin your relaxation, just the feeling like you can just allow the mind, body to melt into the field of the earth and be nurtured like that. And jaw and tongue relax. Yeah, just relax, let it all go. Just for a few minutes, let everything just go. Relax. As you begin the relaxation, see if you can feel or visualize a beautiful radiance or brilliance that is emanating from your navel center, like a white light. Infusing your whole body and mind in magnetic presence, nurturing, brightening, everything taken care of. Relax completely. Exhale. Move the fingers, move the toes. Rotate the wrists and ankles. Rub the palms, make some heat. Rub the soles of your feet, make some heat. Cat stretch to each side. Hug the knees to the chest. Come up to easy pose, rock and roll a couple times. Come into a meditative space. Left hand on the center of the chest, the heart center. Right hand is cupped. Palm facing up, like you're holding water. Your right elbow tucked into the rib cage. Heart held up high, confidence. Feeling of satisfaction, well energized, alive. With a deep feeling of inner affection and self-love. A feeling of elevated energy, elevated attitude. Connected. Make an O shape of your mouth and inhale slowly and deeply through the O-shaped mouth like you're drinking the prana. And through the nose, slowly and completely, exhale. And through the O-shaped puckered mouth, and through the nose, exhale. All the breath out. Drink the breath. And stay in this posture perfectly still. And continue to breathe in that fashion, puckering your lips into the O shape. Inhaling through the mouth like you're drinking it, like it's a nectar of vitality. And then through the nose, exhaling, and push all the breath out using your navel diaphragm to push the last little bit of breath out. Then again begin the inhale, keeping the body still in beautiful regal position, radiant, magnetic, vital. Hold that space, eyes of the third eye, best you can. As the mind wanders, simply bring it back to the breath. Bring it back to the gaze. Drink the breath. with your deeper vitality. We enter into the ever-flowing river of wisdom. Which causes our happiness to deepen with a newfound richness. We're no longer always dependent on things going our way. We enter into a more transcendent space, a flow, a Tao, the way, where real prosperity is brought to life. All that was confusing finally makes sense. There's a beam of the eyes, a magnetism to the presence. It's the vitality of inner fulfillment, the vitality of Dharma. Stay in the same posture. Make a puckered mouth, O-shaped, and through the O-shaped mouth, equal exhale, inhale, with the rhythm. Meditative, yet substantive. Use the navel and keep going, go. But as you keep going, switch your hands, switch the hand position, exactly. Now left hand cupped, holding the water, right hand on the tender and glorious heart. Keep going. The breath going, arms out to the side, palms facing up. Fingers firm, fingertip to fingertip, stretch out. Heart wide open. Heart like a full field of energy, of loving kindness, of expansive wisdom. mouth, hold the posture, inhale deep. Suspend the breath, bring the mind into its meditative clarity, neutrality, heart open wide, fingers tight, lift through the mulaband, rectum, sex organ, navel, pelvic floor lifted. And through the mouth, hold the posture like a cannon, exhale. Inhale. Fingertip to fingertip, stretch out, stretch out. Hold the position, exhale. Last time, inhale. Make the fingers tight like steel, lift through the pelvic floor. Squeeze through the spine, mind relaxed. Third eye goes the gaze. Exhale. And very slowly come into meditative space. Allow the breath to just flow as it wants. Allow the body to feel elevated and relaxed. Mind spacious. Inhale. Exhale. And it's from this type of kind of tuned space. It's very much like a tuning of the instrument that is our minds and that is our bodies. Raise your arms up like this. Stretch up. Sit bones connected down. Shoulders release, stretch up to the ceiling. Exhale. Inhale deep. And then just shake out the arms with a little vigorously. Like really move in, shake the energy. And just shake off the kind of tension or any leftover stagnation, but also distributing the good new life force we've worked so hard to circulate and generate and relax. Is from this kind of space where then the vitality of creativity, the Sanskrit word is Shukra. And Shukra both is the name for the sexual reproductive fluids and energy of the human being and other animal beings. But it's also the name of Venus, Shukra. And it's also the creative energy itself. And so all of this life is generated, animated by this great force or this great vitality of creativity. So by getting our whole organism, mind, body system, well aligned, the vitalities, the rasa, the vitality of happiness, the rakta, the vitality of energy, the rasa, the mamsa, the vitality of protection and confidence, asti, the vitality of self-confidence, of holding the when you can very real, in a very genuine way, hold your heart up high. It's not that you have to do it. The vitality is doing it for you. That's how you're walking through the world. That's how you're interacting with life itself. All your relationships, all your projects, activities. This is what we bring to our life. What is the energy system? Because all of us have this glorious nucleus of intelligence, of love, of sweetness, of great wisdom, of great creativity. And so it would be a shame to not make sure we keep our vehicles tuned so that great vitality of creativity can move through us. There's only so many babies we need, so much that the creativity needs to be focused in the direction of procreation of life, but our whole happiness depends on the vitality of our creativity flowing through the rest of our life in a dharmic way, in a harmonious and purposeful way. And then finally, because that is considered the most refined of all the tissues of the organism. In the male organism, it's the semen. In the female organism, it's the egg. But then when that vitality from the first sip of water, that high, or of coconut water, that hydrates the plasma, that hydrates the body, and then nourishes the blood, and then that blood, that healthy, more now well vibrated blood chemistry now nurtures your muscle and your skin. Now I'm feeling a sense, I'm feeling well protected, and that will lift me up. And now all of a sudden, not only am I feeling well protected, I'm feeling quite confident because I feel protected. And now that I'm feeling that kind of magnetism or psychic energy of confidence and being just very well protected, now I can share my heart. And then out of that deeper type of love, now the very pulse of Dharma, the rhythm of life will start to express itself through our lives, in the unique context of each of our lives. And then once we have that inner fulfillment, that's what causes the light to come through somebody's eyes. That's what gives the presence. Now, that from that most refined creativity, and what the yogic practices are all about, is to take that reservoir of vitality and turn it into your wisdom. Turn it into your very radiance. And that's why we call it radiance in the 8 human vitalities. Radiance is the 8th human vitality, in the sense is that fire energy, the fire that's burning of your life, when it mixes with the reservoir of deeper love, it makes a glow. So when your love and your passion, when the more non-biased, unconditioned love is now mixing very naturally with your natural passions, all of a sudden creativity flows. And now when that happens with the mood of devotion, which these great yogic practices are so magnificent in helping us cultivate, not devotion in a religious way, but just the real experience of love and the experience of the mystery of this life, and so much we don't know. And because of that, it's like it's beyond the beyond. And when you realize this is beyond the beyond, at that really experiential level, you have to have devotion. Because at the same time, it's love. And you get to sense very quickly that this love goes really deep. And so if I can just even touch a little more of that, I will. That is devotion. And you feel so grateful. So that's what we're doing in this immersion experience, the radiance and the 8 human vitalities. That's happening September 1 through 5. Each of the sessions that we're going to be doing, starting on the Wednesday evening, and then Thursday morning, and then Thursday afternoon, and then going through Sunday afternoon. And it works for all different time zones. If you can't be there live for each of them, that's totally okay. You can do the practices, you can do the sessions on your own time. If you join in for this thing, you also have lifetime on-demand access, so it works. It's very flexible, but if you can be there live, it's really spectacular to do that too. And it's not just like, oh, this is going to be an event that we're live streaming. This is an event that, yes, the actual physical event, there will be some people there. That's been sold out for some time. It's a limited amount of people this time. But we put equal amounts of creativity and energy and production into the online experience. It's very important to us. So the audio experience, the visual experience. So you can read on the webpage here. even some of the stuff I was giving as we were going today through these 8 human vitalities on this journey today, a lot of that comes straight from what I wrote for each of the sessions that we're going through. And so then in the evenings, we have very special guests. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. We have the great Robert Thurman that'll be joining us in the evening, and other surprise guests. And so we're very excited. I'm very excited for this. And it's really something to look forward to. You carve out that time, invite a friend to do it with you if you want. And we always say, well, rent a Airbnb or get somewhere where you can create some space, even in your own home. Create a room where you can do it and create a nice vibe. Just, somewhere you want to hang. This would feel great to hang out for a few days. And go into the immersion space. It's really wonderful. It's a really great way to spend a few days. It's life transforming. Because when you are immersed in it for that amount of time, and this is available any level of experience, even today was your first time ever trying something like this. If you're resonating, if it sounds like something you'd like to try, I would encourage you to do it. You don't have to be a long-time practitioner or advanced to do it. It's really fun. It's not real stoic and rigid. Yeah, we're going to work hard. We're going to, it's going to definitely work us because it's a transforming experience. So we can transform and bring more positivity, more happiness, more health, more vitality, more love into our lives and whatever is going on in our lives, and deeply enough that it will help carry us through these coming months. And so anybody can do this. We have a good time, and we're going to laugh a lot. There's always great music. So we always recommend use whatever best screen you can have ready, and also best audio you can have ready, because that's a really big part of it too. But also you can do it on your phone with some earbuds, and that's great. If you want to do it that way, that totally works. But if you can give it a more big experience, I recommend that for sure. But if you just have your little room by yourself and you want to do it with your phone, that would totally work as well. So whatever works for you, that's what's so cool about it, is we can do it this way. And so you are very much invited. There is a great offer right now. The regular price for the event is for the full virtual immersion is $498. But right now, if you jump in now, it's only $249. And there's also a payment plan where if you can't do the full $249 and you want to do 2 payments of $139, the first $139 now and then the second in 30 days, but you'll have full access to everything. You can absolutely do that right now. And everything's here. It's super easy to register. You do not have to be technologically savvy to do this. It's really easy. And we also have a great support team on breaks. We also, in addition to our main production, our main stream, we have a separate Zoom space we open, so everyone in the virtual world who wants to be in there, and it stays open throughout the days, and our team comes on and we hang out and they're sharing, and there's so we do also create a community that way. But Zoom doesn't support really good quality of audio and video, so our main stream will be a better production, but the Zoom room is there for us to create our sangha, our community in the Dharma cloud, as we like to say. So that's all happening. I want to, if you're feeling it, encourage you to jump in. You click on the page that takes you to the registration page. Just takes a moment, and that's what it is, and it's coming up here pretty soon. We start on September 1st, and we end on September 5th, and like I said, it's very flexible. So regardless, though, if you're coming on for the full immersion with us, I'm really glad you came today, and we had this opportunity to do this work together. And definitely, please stay in touch, and whether it's on our social media channels or however else. Hopefully we'll all be seeing each other in person before too long. And just wishing lots of happiness and health and love to you and your families. We're going to seal the class. We're chanting this long satanams, 3 long satanams. It helps us seal the energy, helps us then, okay, great. Not only am I glad that this is helpful to me in my life, if the case that it is. For me, definitely it is. And that I also want to have the genuine wish that I can also be helpful to others somehow. And in the same way that I wish to not suffer, that I wish that also for you. And I wish that also for everyone. In the same way I want to be really happy and have a good time, I wish that for you. And may we all continue to thrive and continue to prosper, even if the times are very dark. We will find the depth in that, and we will have the perseverance, the courage, and most importantly, the love to go through that in a way that will become wiser, and we will ultimately become happier and healthier by going through whatever we have to go through. Inhale deep. Exhale. Thank you, my friends. Thank you, Aki. Thank you, Leah. Thank you to the whole Life Force Academy team. Thank you for everyone who joined in today. Wishing you all the best. Hope to see you at the immersion. And definitely in either way, stay in touch. Life Force Academy, Jaidave108 is the handle on most of the networks. Love you. Have a great, beautiful rest of your day. Happy full moon.
I'm so grateful to be at home and to have a magic space. And it's really helped me carve out my boundaries.
You know, meditating and doing yoga by yourself can sometimes be it's difficult to stay motivated.
I just wanted to say that the energy that has been radiating from the virtuals too has been electrifying.
The effects that I was having just at home by myself practicing were tremendous. I mean, the bliss and the real love of just living life and being around other people was palpable.
We all need the consciousness to change. We all need introspection, and what you're offering is guiding so many people to do it. So
his love, his kindness, his wisdom, his insight, like all of it is just such an incredible blend.
Simra and Jai really cultivate, and all of the team cultivate such a beautiful experience.
But it turned out kind of fun. I could do the virtual from anywhere I wanted.
In a lot of ways, you see, regardless of whether you take this all literally or not, this is the training of how to develop the mind to become a happy person. Do you get that out of it? And that's the process we're going through right now. How do I continue to go through my process so that I now have the capacity to orient myself towards helping others?
Kundalini is amazing. It really helps you to be more grounded, and it really helps de-stress and takes away your anxiety and your fears. It's such an amazing tool to really become freer as a person and to become more of yourself and get comfortable with yourself.
So that's what a householder yoga life is about, is you're using the rajas of your life, the activity of your life, the stress of your life, the turbulence of your mind, and you're channeling it into more vitality, more consciousness, more love. That is the warrior way.
The combination of the intellectual capacity, the analytical capacity, the way Jayadev explains things to me made a lot of sense. I don't like to do things out of the blue just because somebody says so. And the teachings are very profound from my perspective, and it resonated with me.
Your projection and your mental attitude creates the context for the stress of your life. The whole idea is moving beyond worry and fear. But that's not stuffing the worries and the fears that you have. It's learning to develop the type of character, develop the type of nervous system, type of mental caliber that you know how to not indulge worries. Okay? It takes a lot of power to be able to do that. But fortunately, you have a lot of power. Question is, do you grab hold of it? That's what this immersion is about.